Good evening, everyone. I am Harish Reddy Duggapudi, founder of studentnexus. Thank you for joining today exciting online workshop. Before we dive into the workshop, I honored to introduce our speaker, Ali Mustafa, a senior developer advocate at Pieces. And the main thing, feel free to with the speaker and ask your queries. So let us welcome our today's speaker, Ali Mustafa.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing good. Let's say hi in the chat. I'm not able to see the chat right now, but hopefully I'll be able to see all of your responses. Let's see. Let's put some hi in the chat. Is my voice okay, or is it a little wobbly?
Yeah, sir, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. Okay, nice. Okay. Our joining fan. There you go. So I've added a question. Go back, give it a thumbs up, reply back. Probably there I can see the chat. Else I'll not be able to see it. So yeah. Okay, I can see a thumbs up. That's nice. Yeah, mention in the Q&A section. Go ahead and type in the city you're joining from. Excited to know I'm joining personally from Mumbai, from Sri Lanka. Okay, that's nice. Exciting. Telangana, Bangalore, Visakhapatnam. That's good. That's good. What about others? Let's see more. Hyderabad, Delhi, Hyderabad. Nice. I see a lot of people joining from Hyderabad. That's good. Let's see more. Andhra Pradesh. Nice. Okay. So we have 60 plus folks right here. Without wasting further time, let's get started with the workshop today. So let me quickly share my screen. Give me a thumbs up again if you are able to see it. And then we'll go from there. Okay. So hopefully you're able to see my screen, right? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a yes, just in case, because yeah, the chat is let me put so I have a good idea. What I can do is I can name one piece in Q&A called as chat, and we can actually ask Q&A there. So let me pin this basically. Can I pin this, or like I'll upload it so that it's available there, and then we can interact there. That would be very nice. Let me quickly show you, if you are new here, how to interact in the Q&A. You just go to Q&A, and there you will see chat in bold, where we can actually talk with each other, and interact. Give me a hi in that chat so that I know it is working. Oh, nice. I can see a thumbs up. I can see a comment. That is perfect. Nice. So Harish has added the comment. What about others? Are the others able to see that? Go to Q&A, click on chat, and just interact there, right? So give me a thumbs up if you are able to see a screen. Quick reactions. I can only see 4 reactions out of 70 people. Okay. Hopefully my screen is visible. Okay, so let's get started. Today we are going to learn about generative AI and dive deeper into the crux of it, and then do a hands-on. I'll talk a little bit more about the workshop itself in a moment. About myself, I'm Ali Mustafa. I work as a senior developer advocate at Pieces for Developers. Our whole idea is to kind of make long-term memory accessible for all of you and enable you to use generative AI models on your device, and do, use all of the online models as well. I've personally, visited 300 plus colleges in person, delivered so many workshops around AI, ML, APIs, and so on and so forth. Previously, I used to work at Postman, again as a senior developer advocate. I served there for 4 years. Some of you might know from me from Postman about conducting API sessions or API fundamentals workshops. I also have a TEDx talk. In case you have some time, go ahead and watch it. It's a fun thing about machine learning and everything, around collection of data and so on and so forth. Nice. This is again me speaking at different conferences. So yeah, you will actually, find a lot of these photos being clicked. We will click a photo. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase it. We'll click a screenshot at the end of the session, and I'll frame this again in one of these galleries. Nice. Now, there is no prerequisites per se. The only prerequisite for this workshop is that you have the pieces for developers installed. We have sent you the link earlier, I hope. If you have not yet installed, then I'm going to send this link once again so that all of you are on the same page. Please go through the prerequisite ones so that you are all set. You can give me a thumbs up on the prerequisites so that I can see that you are, once you are done with the installation, give me a thumbs up on the prerequisites so I know that all prerequisites are completed for you. Okay. The hands-on part depends on the prerequisites, so I'll ask you to kind of make sure the installation is done so that you can earn the certification at the very end. Nice. Now we take pride in kind of keeping this workshop around 30% to 40% theory and rest of it being hands-on. So I want you to kind of do hands-on with me when I'm doing it. And if you have any questions, ask in the questions Q&A section because that's where we are going to interact, right? And I've created a question called as chat inside which we all can talk. So in case you want to ask anything, I am constantly monitoring it here on the right side of my screen. So I'll have a look at it in case you have, any questions regarding the workshop or anything in general. Nice. If you look at this logo, it's a Copilot logo, by the way. If you can see the logo, give me a thumbs up. Again, the same way in the chat, or you can use the React actually. I guess React also works because I can see the thumbs up like this on the React as well. Let's see. Or someone raised hand. That's also fine. Okay. A few of you reacted. Yeah, it's very difficult to interact without without having access to chat properly, which is very weird. But yeah, so if you look at this logo, it's a Copilot logo. If you see this on any slide, you can raise your hand. I'll ask you to unmute yourself, and you have to summarize the previous 3 slides. And in that process, you will earn few points. Good. Now, if you make it on the top of the leaderboard at the end of the workshop, you will get a swag. So that way, I'm not the only one who's speaking. You're also very much engaging in the workshop. And then we all benefit at the end, right? You get the swag. Everyone else get to, kind of repeat what I said. They get to hear it. And you get some points. So every time whoever I see raising their hand first, I'll call out their name. I'll unmute them. I give them a minute, and they have to summarize the previous 3 slides. The best way they summarize, the best points they get at the end, whoever tops the leaderboard wins a special swag from our side. Actually, I can show you that right here, but I'm not able to find it. It's usually available on my desk, like somewhere here. My desk is right now very uncluttered, so I can't find it. But it's actually a Copilot, which if you tap it, it will take you to your own LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so it's a smart swag, not just like a keychain which you can, which doesn't have any use. This you can reconfigure it to point it to your LinkedIn, to your any other website or portfolio you want. So that's the winner for the prize. Now, talking about social media, we are running a social media challenge where you can participate and earn a T-shirt like this, which is a cool one. Says, if you can't see it, talk AI to me. Really cool T-shirt. We have some stickers with it. For that, you can see that on the top we have earlier mentioned. If you scroll down a little bit, we have the LinkedIn and the Twitter challenge. Go ahead and participate. Take some inspiration from the past winners and submit your entries on the fly. If you click some screenshots, that's a bonus. That's a plus one. So in that case, we will like if you post on LinkedIn and Twitter, you get extra points. If you add images, you get extra points. So the best, the person with the most points, and we kind of then randomize it to kind of get the winner. So if you are, the lucky ones, there are more than 20 kits to be awarded. So you can try your luck, in this as well. It is available, by tomorrow. So tomorrow we will end the social media challenge, so you can participate before tomorrow. So don't forget to click snapshots during the workshop so that you can use it while in your social media challenge. Sounds good? Hopefully, yes. Okay. So let's go back and let's start learning about artificial intelligence. So what is AI? In very simple terms, you already know the definition, right? What is AI? Artificial intelligence. But what is intelligence? How do you define intelligence? In very simple terms, if you look at a human intelligence, when you're born into this world, you obviously do not know how to walk. So you would crawl, and not even that for initial few days. Probably once you're a little older to start crawling, going here and there. But then if you kind of go a little bit deeper, you understand that okay, from crawling you started to walk, from walking you started to run, and all of that happened from like self-learning mechanism. So what you were essentially doing was watching every other human being around you, looking them in the eye, and capturing all of that data, and then processing that data using your brain, and was able to train yourself to do something. And that is what intelligence means, right? And whenever we talk about artificial intelligence, we mean to transfer this piece of intelligence to a machine. So maybe you can drive a car. Nice. Can I make a machine drive a car? Can I make a computer drive a car? Artificial intelligence, right? So artificial intelligence is a very wide field. It includes self-driving cars, robotics, pharmaceuticals, and a lot more things, right? So it has a wide spectrum, in general. So don't think AI is like, very niche. It's not niche actually. It is actually quite big, and it is expanded horizontally. Um, Within artificial intelligence, we heard about generative AI. All of you might have used ChatGPT, right? Yes, most probably. Yeah. So if you have used ChatGPT, oh, Pawan, go ahead. You raised your hand, so I'm assuming you saw the logo. Hopefully, you can unmute yourself. If not, can you unmute him for no? Okay. Okay. Someone raised their hand, but then they went down. Okay. Go ahead. You have to summarize the previous three slides, right? So yeah, go ahead. Your mic is muted in case you're trying to speak.
No, they can unmute
Now,
themselves.
now it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In the previous slide, you said about like what is artificial intelligence, how the technologies will be work in the AI. Like we can say about the artificial intelligence means like the technologies allow the computer to perform the any tasks, and how the human will be helpful to the artificial intelligence. We can easily access the artificial intelligence nowadays. Like similar to you say about in the previous that AI, what is the AI technologies will be working in the nowadays.
Thank you so much. I'm not going to reveal your points right now because then that spoils the whole thing. So I'm going to just give you some points and keep you in the loop. Okay, nice. Now on to the, what is generative AI? Now you have used GPT before, right? You have used all of this. Now, I did not take a lot of effort into defining what is generative AI because I could literally go and ask Gemini about it, right? And Gemini would literally, go ahead and tell me that, hey, generative AI refers to the category of artificial intelligence. Remember, AI is very wide. It is horizontal in nature, right? What can generative AI as a part, in that artificial intelligence category do? It can create new content. What kind of content? Text, images, audios, and code, and more, right? And all of that resembles the training data. So unlike your traditional AI, which focuses on rules, generative AI don't focuses on rule more. They focus more on understanding the pattern and able to generate new data, new ideas, and so on and so forth. Now, I ask the same question to GPT-4o, and it also says something similar, but it says that it helps you to generate new content. Now, again, if you emphasize a little bit more, then there is 3D models, videos, and whatnot. So you can traditionally create any kind of new content, right? Again, it emphasizes on the word that it is unlike traditional AI, which is mainly focusing on recognizing patterns. Here, the whole idea of generative AI is to kind of predict new data instances that resemble the training data itself. So yeah, both of them kind of leave their own definitions. But if you look at what is common between these definitions, the first thing which is very common is they generate new content. Yes, generative AI models generate new content. What kind of content? Text, images, music, code, and so on and so forth. So it's not just one form of content, it's multiple form of content. Now, 4o goes ahead and also claims that it does not just generate content, it generates original output, which basically means that it can think traditional, right? So unless you can think, you cannot put an original outcome. So is generative AI going to take over the world? Is AI very near? Not really. We'll talk about that. But you get the gist. And then again, if you iterate more on the content side, you'll see 3D models, videos, audios, and, the world is there. So kind of any content which exists in today's world can be generated using generative AI. Nice. So if you look at the history of GenAI, it was introduced, by a model called as transformer. So if you look at generative AI's history, the base paper you will find is Transformers by Wasani et al., written in 2017 about transformer models. And this is very common knowledge. Again, if you're using GPT, thanks to these papers that you are able to, right? Because they were the foundation of generative AI as a whole. And if you talk specifically about transformer models, it used a self-attention mechanism for efficient word processing. So what it actually meant was it was able to understand what the word itself means or why you are using that particular word. And when you are kind of pairing these words together, it was able to, kind of utilize or understand them via a very simple self-attention mechanism. Now, in 2018, Google came up with Birth, which was very similar model, but it was something which could do, self-attention mechanism in both ways. So it was not just able to kind of, kind of understand the meaning of the current word and its significance in the whole sentence, but Birth was able to kind of understand what was the previous word and what was the next word. Now, if you look at it from that perspective, it changes the game. So if you look at GPT or OpenAI in that time, what they did was they pull out one of these papers, optimized it further, created their own algorithm, went ahead, trained it with whole of internet, and then what they came up with was ChatGPT. And the success of this is denoted to all of the users more than the research itself, because imagine something like a tech like that Google would never release because of all the backslash it would get, because of all the crazy things people will say about Google, obviously. And Google has a real customers. In the same time, OpenAI was a non-profit org. It did not have a lot of customers per se, paying customers. Obviously, it was running solely on donations and whatnot. But that's why they were able to kind of go to market really really fast with the paper, and they were able to experiment early in comparison to Google, which literally wrote the foundational paper of all of this tech, but like just lagged in the very start. But now you can see Google catching up with Gemini 2.0 Flash models and so on and so forth. So what more models were there apart from these transformers and BERT? You will actually find generative adversarial network, or GANs. Now GANs were really really famous when we were in college, and I used to teach GAN to a lot of students as well, because GAN was something which is very close to generative AI. Because in GAN you had two neural networks that compete against each other, and one used to generate content, and second would evaluate its authenticity or try to kind of sabotage it. And that way, the first algorithm would become super good, and the second algorithm, obviously, its duty is to make the first algorithm super good. And then if you go further down, you will have VAEs and diffusion model. Now again, diffusion models are probabilistic models, so they learn the process of adding noise to the data, generate new sample, and create data out of thin air. So now in today's world, you will see a combination of these techniques which you can use to make your model really awesome. Nice. Uh, I am talking a lot of jargons as of now, right? AI, transformers, blah, blah, blah models, and so on and so forth, right? So if you look at all of these words, they don't mean, to a person who has not seen, all of these high words, to them, all of these kind of are bouncer. So this is a very famous meme from my favorite movie, Fir Hera Fairy, and here the main characters one of the main characters says make it not sound tough. Okay, so it simply means simplified whatever you're telling. You don't have to like talk like this, just throw whatever is in your mouth and talk normally. For example, right now I'm loaded with tech jargons. So I want to throw the tech jargon out, and I want to kind of interact with you with very simple words. Let's do that. So let's play a game. Very simple game. I'm going to give you a full sentence. I'm giving you a fill in the blanks. You have to complete the fill in the blanks. This is a Hindi dialogue. If you know Hindi, please attempt it. I promise I have English ones as well. So, dash in mein paise double. Now, this is a very famous dialogue from one of my favorite movies again. So you can use the Q&A chat feature to chat and give me the answer. Let's see. You can go to the chat section, give me the, oh, I can see a new comment. 21. Sumit says 21. What about others? Does anyone else have a different opinion? Let's see. Oh, you have created a new post altogether. Don't create a new post, Janvi. Just use the chat question where you can, reply back on my comment. Okay. 21. Let's see more. Anyone else? Okay. Navi also says 21. Anyone else thinks about something else? Please mention that apart from 21. If everyone thinks about 21, then 25. Vikas says 25. Okay. Oh, Vikas is raising their hand because they saw the Copilot logo. Go ahead, Vikas. You can unmute yourself. Till the time, folks, you can answer the question. Yes, Vikas, you should be able to unmute. There's no restriction on that, I assume. Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself and speak about what we just discussed. We're not able to hear you if you are unmuted. Go ahead. Can you unmute yourself? We are not able to hear you.
Please raise your hands. I will give you the unmute option.
Can you give the option to Vikas once? Because I'm not, he's not able to unmute.
Uh, if they raise hands, I will give the option,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is a no
I
rule
can
in student
see.
ambassador.
Yeah, I guess he has raised his hand. Can you check once?
Yeah, because you can unmute yourself and ask your.
Sorry, but we can't do a lot of like put a lot of time here. So I'll have to bring you off screen. Um, Vikant, can you you have also raised a hand. Can you unmute yourself? Or else anyone else can raise their hand. Okay, Kesai Charan. Kesai Charan, can you unmute him? Sai Charan. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, firstly, we learned about the generative AI. Next, we learned about the
Yeah.
features of the transfer model. And in the previous slides, we learned about the different types of models, like transformer model, GANs, VANs, autoencoders, diffusion models.
Would you mind sharing one line each about these models if you remember? It's fine if you don't. That's fine. Okay. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming and unmuting and sharing. Nice. Let's go let's go to the next slide, next game or next question in the game. So the first one was dash in a paisa double. I'm not gonna reveal any answers because I'll tell about that a little bit later, but that's the first one. Second one. How's the Josh? Let's mention that in the chat again. So I'm not able to kind of put this on top for some reason, like the chat question. But let's see. Okay, I see P. Likhita say hi, sir. Okay, what about others? Others, Josh is also hi. Is it? Let's see. Let's see. Sumit also says hi. Anyone with a low, you know, uh, Josh here? No, everyone's Josh is high. Looks like that. Hopefully, Elisa also says hi. Anyone with a medium Josh? Not so high, not so low. Somewhere in between. No one. Okay, let's do the third question. May the force, the last one. May the force. This one is a little naughty, so if you don't know the answer to this, it's absolutely fine. You're actually better off not knowing it. In some cases, or in other cases, you're missing out. A lot. Sumit says, "Be with you." Okay. What about others? Anyone else thinks something different than this? That is also fine. If you think something different about, apart from this, be with you. Okay. Okay. Probably you're not able to discover how to chat with me. Just click on Q&A, go to the chat question there and reply back to it. That's how you have to interact. Be with you. Okay. The last question. Houston, we have let's see this one. This one should be interesting. Yes, Houston, we have a what? We have a solution probably? No? Maybe we could have a solution. Houston, bring you down. Okay. Okay. I guess this was for the last one. I'm hoping that. Okay, let's see other ones. Problem. We have a problem. Okay. Problem. Okay. So let's take a step back and understand what you just did. You became the generative AI model. You became, you know, what you literally use every day now and then. Okay. So whenever we are talking about generative AI, in very, very simple terms, all it does is it predicts the next word in the sequence. So if you say XYZ, you're in our case, how's the Josh? You by default come up with hi sir is because in somewhere in your mind, probably you have watched a meme, probably you have watched a movie, probably some friend has told you this dialogue, or you might have heard it in a motivational speaker speech or so on and so forth. So if you look at all of that, you will see all of these dialogues kind of come somewhere, some part in your life where you can utilize it and you can be like, okay, like this is where I can recall this particular item from. Um, and that is exactly what a generative AI model do. The only difference being that you are intelligent, meaning that you understand the why behind it instead of me like as a human like understanding all of it instead if you look at a model, the model would not know the behind the scenes for it, right? So it will try to match the pattern, it will try to match the database, but it will not really know why it is selecting that outcome. It will just select it because it is matching the pattern. Okay, in very very simple terms. Cool. Now why learn behind the scenes of AI? Because it's a big innovation, meaning that XAI recently got funded 6 billion. Microsoft kind of funded $10 billion to OpenAI. Google, Amazon, all of them are ramping up investments in the generative AI ecosystem. And if not, you might have recently heard about Stargate project where US is investing $500 billion, which opens a lot of opportunity for you to go ahead, start your business, learn generative AI, and be part of this skill set which is ready to take the world. If you're not going to adapt today, you are going to be replaced tomorrow. And according to McKinsey, around more than 70% organizations already plan to adopt AI models or have already adopted them in their organizations to some extent, which has already impacted a lot of jobs. So your job would literally be replaced if you do not act today and upgrade yourself with not just the knowledge of how to use Gen AI, but also know what it is, why it exists, and how you can make the most of it. Remember, learning about generative AI is to kind of create your own unique value, right? Which can help you to differentiate yourself and build something for you and your consumers. Now, going back to the basic question again, what is LLM? LLM stands for large language model. Now, large language models are, in very simple terms, big brain AI. Now, when I say big brain AI, it means it is trained on a very large data set like the internet, and trained on algorithms like transformers, birth, and so on and so forth. A combination of a lot of these, and then like trained for hours, costing millions or sometimes billions of dollars in all the cost, and so on and so forth. And then the end result you get is an LLM. Now, this LLM is very raw. It is not fine tuned, meaning that it is not going to be the best, like to answer questions at all. Because if you ask it a question, it will actually reply back with a question because it is a raw LLM. It doesn't have, any fine tuning, and so on and so forth. Now, once you get this raw LLM, what you can do is you can apply fine-tuning mechanism on top of that. You can go ahead and you can write a C program or a Python program and enable this model to interact with us humans in language, in natural language. Essentially, implementing the algorithm of next word prediction. Remember, all the data it has learned through the Internet Archive, it remembers all of that. So it is very easy for it to use that knowledge while answering questions, while taking all of these in context. Now, Remember, LLMs are basically multitasking pro. They can write code, they can summarize, they can translate, they can do literally everything because they are large in size and because they are trained on large amount of data set. That's why we call it large language models. Language models because you can interact with them, naturally, very simply in your own language. So LLMs, become they are like literally jack of all trades, but they are master of none, which is very important to know because large language models can be very squeaky sometimes, and in general, you'll not find all the LLMs being master of one thing. But there are some LLMs which are tuned to do that. For example, Claude Sonnet 3.5, it is really good at coding, right? Though it can do other things as well, like writing an essay, ideating on an idea, and so on and so forth. And then remember, with high tech comes high risk. So even though LLMs are like really good and they are insanely capable, they sometimes fumble, and they can spit out biased results. For example, if you look at the recent advancement, which is DeepSeek, DeepSeek was really good until you go ahead and ask questions about China. And then DeepSeek no longer agrees to respond back. And it will just tell you that, hey, I can't respond back, or I don't have an opinion on that topic, or I'm not allowed to respond back on that topic, right? But that happens with obviously the online hosted model. But if you host it locally with something like, Pieces using Olama, none of this, censorship comes into place. Though when you train the LLM, a lot of that data bias is taken into the algorithm. Nice. Now, what are the downsides? Obviously, the major downside is that LLMs don't have any real understanding, so they can be wrong. Not once, not twice, more than that. And the only way to know that is to know what is the correct answer. In this case, you can see January, February, March. So you know that these are the months of the year. And on the right column, you can see that we try to give it a pattern, and then it tries to replicate that pattern because it doesn't understand what the months of the year sounds like. So it just considers that as a pattern and then tries to replicate it. GenAI is very similar in this pattern, where it will look at the pattern in the dataset, and regardless of how good prompt you give, it will still output shit, even though it has been trained on millions of dollars and so on and so forth. Cool. Now, introducing pieces for developers. Now, what is the problem with today's models? One, there are too many. So you can't choose which one to use, how to use them, and so on and so forth. So what you can do is you can bring all of these models inside one place. Pieces allows you to do that. It supports multi-model approach, meaning that you can bring your favorite model inside Pieces. Any online, or not any, but top online models like ChatGPT 4o, Claude Sonnet 3.5, uh, Gemini Flash 2.0, which we have actually available for you to use. All of them for absolutely free for an unlimited amount of time. Now we don't kind of spy on your prompts and so on. So yeah, data privacy is taken care of. Now, for some reason, you're working on something very serious, very confidential, and you don't want to share that with an online LLM because, as I gave you an example of DeepSeek, which is a Chinese LLM, and it was running on censorship. So if you're sharing some sensitive data to that, it might actually kind of leak out in some way or other, even though it's not the intention of the model or the intention of the founders to do that, right? It's just the nature of how it is. So in that case, you can use pieces, and with pieces, you can use local models like Phi 3.5 or Phi 4, and so on and so forth. And all of these local models are available for, again, absolutely free because you can download freely from internet. We use Olama to manage these models on your device and work with pieces for absolutely seamless integration. So yeah, that's pieces. That's pieces for developers. Apart from all the AI stuff, we have something called as safe snippets, which is my one of the favorite things about pieces. So I code a lot, and when I code, I have snippets which I save from time to time to find them on the right time. But as it turns out, my Google Keep is with tons and tons of snippets, which I've never seen, in a long time, and when I go and search for them, it's messy. So what we have done is we have implemented SLMs, which allow you to categorize these SNPs via tag, add some description, and generate relevant metadata. So that next time you go ahead and you search in natural language, it can find those particular resources for you. So yeah, Pieces kind of allows you to do both of these, which is why Pieces is something which you might want to explore as you're moving forward into your generative AI journey. Nice. Uh, cool. Now, let's see if anyone else have their hand raised. Okay, you have already spoken, so I'm gonna give chance to other if someone comes in first. Barkat Fatima, yeah, go ahead. If you can unmute yourself real quickly.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
So first you said about the importance of Gen AI in future, like jobs and all. Then you said about the LLM, which is large language models. Then you said about it like 3 points. Big, like it is a big brain AI, AI system that trained on massive text data and all. Then multitasking. Just multitasking, then it has high risk, so they don't have any real understanding. When you said about pieces, that is multimodal approach.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry, I was muted. A virtual class for her. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. Vikant, if you have something to add to this, please unmute yourself and go. If you have, something more to add to this. No, Vikas, do you want to add something? Your hand is also raised.
हेलो सर। मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था एक्चुअली में जेन एआई से रिलेटेड। जेन एआई में एक कॉन्सेप्ट है ज्ञान का, जनरेटिव एडवर्टाइजेबल नेटवर्क। मेरे को उसके बारे में थोड़ी-सी क्वेरी थी कि हम इसको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बेटर कैसे यूज़ करें? क्योंकि मैंने रिसोर्स बहुत सारा सर्च किया है इस इंटरनेट पे, इस रिलेटेड के, पर मेरे को मिल नहीं रहा है। तो क्या आप मुझे गाइड कर पाएँगे, क्या मैं इस फ़ील्ड में कैसे जा सकता हूँ? मेरा जो जेन एआई के अंदर है, जो जनरेटिव एडवर्टाइजेबल नेटवर्क है, उस पे मेरे को ज़्यादा फोकस करना है एक्चुअली में।
Absolutely. So GANs जो थे वो पहले बहुत ज्यादा यूज होते थे, and they are still used actually. But earlier, why they were used was because of the ability for them to, do crazy stuff. Like we used to generate patterns using GAN, random patterns, like not particularly an image or something, but random patterns about something. We would do a lot more stuff with GANs, right, in general. But yes, GANs went out of fashion a little bit because of generative AI models and transformers and birth, and so many different models now like chain of thought, self-attention mechanisms, and whatnot. But definitely, if you look at like if you want to learn about GAN a little bit more, I can share with you some resources. But though this session is not about GAN, so I'll not be able to kind of share right now, but definitely I'll share with you on personal note where you can go ahead and you can research about it. But I have
Sir,
a lot of courses about it, which I will recommend with you on Coursera.
sir, I have a doubt.
Nice. Uh, yeah, we'll take questions at the very end. So yeah,
Sir, is DeepSeek is using as a open woven LLM only, no, sir. Why? But you said about the Chinese LLM you are using.
yes. So if you use deepseek.com, you go to their website and you kind of use that. You are sending your questions directly to servers in Taiwan. And you can verify that by typing, like something about Xi Jinping. You can just type it and see if DeepSeek replies back. You can do the same in OpenAI, and that will be very different.
What about
If you
what
use
about
the, yeah,
offline
let me
ChatGPT?
finish.
Okay, okay.
Let me finish. Yeah, I know you're excited, but let me finish first, right? If you look at DeepSeek itself, the model is also available to download, which means you can download the weights, you can host it on your own server, and you can use it. In that case, there will be data privacy because you are the one who is hosting the model on your own server. Now, hosting a model of DeepSeek size is not easy and it is not cheap. So, for a majority of the audience, they might prefer using the API or they might prefer directly going to, like using DeepSeek server itself, right? What you can do is you can use SLMs, which are smaller in size and can operate locally. Something like 5.4, something like 5.3.5, which are small large language models and can run on your systems very smoothly and can provide you 100% data privacy. Nice. So yeah, that's about that. I guess no more summaries. So I'll move on to the next part, which is hands-on workshop. So I would want you to open, the document for me real quickly. Please open the document. Yes, let's see how many people are here on the document. I see very less. Where are others? Come on, join directly. You can scan. I've given this URL in the chat, not chat in the Q&A section actually. Let me share it again. Okay. So I have. Oh, Quen is actually very good. So Pieces supports Quen. So you can download Quen as an offline model. You can work with it. It works like a charm. You can actually go ahead and try it out in Pieces right now. For absolutely free of cost. As I mentioned, Pieces for developers enables you to kind of, use a lot of these models by managing context. So our whole goal is to be, enable you to manage context around all the models which you're using. That's why we have a term called as long-term memory. So what we mean by long-term memory is, we want to try to replicate the human memory into the systems, right? So for example, as a human, you have a short-term memory, like what you ate for lunch today, or what you, dressed 1 week ago, and so on and so forth. So this is short-term memory, which is, probably worth has more weightage and is available to you on an instant. But as you go deeper and you are like 15 days ahead or 2 weeks back and so on and so forth, when you're working, you might not remember a lot of these things. So Pieces uses small large language models again to kind of do on-device processing of a lot of these information, and then store that onto your device itself. So it doesn't upload anything to a server. All of that data stores on your local database, and then it uses LLMs to retrieve that. You can use offline LLMs, which means it's completely safe. Data doesn't go anywhere. But if you are going to kind of use an online LLM, in that case, we try to limit your exposure maximum. So yeah, that's about that. Okay, so oh yes, you can use that, Vikanta. Actually, you can go ahead and you can try, using Pieces with an offline model called as a Llama, Llama 8B, which is like a really good model. Okay, so let's see. I see 20 plus folks here, which is nice. Okay, so I hope you are participating in the social media challenge. If not, it is available right now. Please go ahead, tag us. There's a Twitter API as well, which you can use. And don't forget to fill out the form. A lot of people participate, but don't fill out the form, which means I can't reach out to you, right? That's very important that I reach out to you and tell you that you are a winner. Okay. Now, for everyone who wants a certificate at the end, you'll have to complete the hands-on part. So be very, do hands-on with me as I'm doing it right now. Okay. So the very first thing is to kind of go ahead and open this GitHub repository. So as you open this GitHub repository, you will see that, it contains information about the GenAI 101 workshop. But it also has a task overview right here. So let's click on the task. So you can also use a direct link right here, which is kind of given in the step number 1. and open the GitHub page and read it once. Okay. So go ahead and do that for me quickly. Open the GitHub page, scroll down all the way down, and understand what we are trying to make here. Okay. Come on, it will not take a lot of time, so let's do it quickly. By the way, for others, let me show you quickly about the installation of Pieces once you have done it, how it will look like. So if you come here, okay, let me share this window. I'm not able to share this window for some reason. Let me select. Okay, I'll actually share my entire screen so that way it is much better. I guess you are able to see my entire screen right now. So as you can come here, you can see, get started with Pieces. Um, you know, you'll see something like this up here. Now click on get started and select your title. Usually, because I'm working with software, I'll select software developer, my years of experience. You can select the tech you're working on. It's absolutely fine if you're not working on a lot of these stuff. Just select them. Select the relevant ones, okay? Not all of them, okay? Because we want to tailor it accordingly. Um, Select the languages which you write code in, if any, and then do you want to use the same materials, Copilot, or both? I prefer using both because I'm, kind of oftentimes end up doing both. Then comes ML and processing. Now this is where the magic of Pieces comes in. As I mentioned earlier, we use small large language models. That's why Pieces are a little heavy because when you're downloading it, it downloads a Pieces OS and Pieces Suite, right? So Pieces Suite basically enables you to interact with anything around VS Code. You can kind of install plugin and so on and so forth, right? You can do a lot of stuff with Pieces Studio. It helps you to organize all of the things at one place. And then comes Pieces OS, which does all the processing, right? So here you can see you can set the default processing. If you are very privacy conscious, you can select local, but that will create load on your device, right? Or else you can select blended in case we then use online models and offline models to do. Again, as I mentioned, we directly make an API call to the relevant LLMs. So in the process, we don't try to invade your privacy. Okay. So our goal is obviously to kind of keep your privacy right there. And that's why I'm emphasizing so much on the on-device models and how Pieces works, at the base level. So you can go here, you can select the main model, the best model which you want to use. I really love Gemini 2 Flash, so I will use that model. And then comes long-term memory. Now, this is very useful for tasks like these. I'll demonstrate it, but it consumes memory because obviously it is, actively kind of capturing this information and storing it for you. So right now I have it activated, but you can keep it deactivated and activate it later on after seeing the demo. And then if you don't want to get rate limited, then you can just sign up with Google and you're all set. Cool. Now you can come here and I'll show you the example of long-term memory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to ask it to do something very simple. I was looking at a GitHub page task. Can you please help me summarize the task? So here I'm not giving it any LinkedIn or any GitHub page. It will figure it out which GitHub page I'm referring to, and then it will tell me what exactly was I doing. So see, it fetches out a Crocs new page, which is a little bit earlier. So that is like my long-term memory, but you are looking at the GitHub notification page and a page related to GenAI 101 workshop. So let me ask it more about, can you tell me more about Gen AI 101 with Pieces, right? And then it opens up the workshop document. It tells me about all the things which we are learning. It gives me the Google slides, and you can see the GitHub repo. Okay. Um, can you summarize the social media task? Okay. So I can go ahead and further drill down onto the document item, and it will ask me to kind of, like summarize. Oh, it is actually taking my Swag sheet, which is like, I don't want to open that because it contains a lot of PII data, so I don't want to kind of show that. But you can kind of go ahead and ask more about things, and it will reply back more. You can also change the model from Flash to GPT-4o or to Sonnet 3.5 or any other online models, or you can download offline models. In this case, I have some of the models like Llama 3 8 billion downloaded, Llama 2 13 billion downloaded, 5 4 14 billion, which I can use on device, and in that case nothing leaves my system. So yeah, that's Pieces for you. Give it a try, and then we will come back with the task and complete our workshop. Okay. Let me see if everyone is able to do things. Hopefully you are. And it's very difficult, obviously, because of the chat thing that we are not able to interact. I know it sucks a lot because I usually like to interact with people a lot. Okay. You can still use that chat, Q&A. Nice. Give me a thumbs up if you're all good till here. Out some prompts, like simple prompts there, and then we will complete the task. Okay. Let's go ahead, share it in the chat. Either way, once you complete the certification and fill out the form, I'll take a day to process the certification. So yeah, let's see. New, done. Okay, good. That's nice. Yeah, so I'll take a day for processing your certification. So we actually verify manually the project you have been working on, and the code which you have generated using Pieces, because we want to make sure that you're doing the hands-on, right, and not just attending this workshop for the sake of attending it and for certificate. So we make sure that you're doing your part for sure. Okay. So let's go ahead and finish off the last parts of the slides which we were at, and then we'll go and finish our hands-on session. Now let's understand what is Copilot, what is more around LLMs and SLMs, right? So what is a Copilot? As the name suggests, it's a co-pilot, meaning that it's not going to drive itself entirely, but it is someone who is going to help you in your journey. Like in a plane, you have a pilot and a co-pilot, exactly like that. You are the main pilot, and then a co-pilot is helping you in your journey of coding, in your journey of researching, and so on and so forth. Most of the companies package their LLMs as co-pilot so that you can use them very efficiently and effectively. That's what we do at Pieces as well. So we have a co-pilot which you can use. Now, if you look at Copilot's basic necessity, what it should know, it should be AI powered, meaning that it should be able to use LLMs. In our case, we can use online and offline LLMs. It should be context aware. Now, that's a very important point. Now, if you come here in Pieces and you start a new chat, you can click on this smaller icon. So I'll zoom this in so that you folks can see it actually. And if you click on the left hand side, you can see you can add files, you can add folders, you can add snippets, and you can add more context, as as a starting point, and from there you can then ask it more questions about things, inside these folders, inside these files, and inside these websites. So here you can add, as you can see, there are no messages, so it doesn't give me the option of adding messages. But as I add messages, I can specifically ask Pieces to focus on these messages as a context, which is also amazing. Nice. It should be collaborative. As I mentioned, you can share your code and so on. We'll see that functionality. But yeah, without collaboration, obviously the whole thing falls flat, because you can like start working on it, and then someone else is also you want to share details with them, so that becomes difficult. Nice. So now with the hands-on part, remember 3 things we'll discuss. which will be very useful in our hands-on part. Number one, context. Context is the king. Even though your model might be a little bigger, it doesn't really matter, because unless and until your model has the proper context, it will not work in the expected way. Okay. So remember, context basically helps you to tell model what it should know prior to you asking the question, right? So you can provide, let's say, a context that, okay, you are a doctor, meaning that now Copilot is acting as a doctor. So it will activate, it will go down into its database of the whole of internet, which is trained on. It will activate that part that, okay, I'm going to activate that learning part, which I learned about this particular doctor degree on the web. And I'm going to, use that, right? So that's how, context activates the model in a way where it is more than helpful than the normal generic response. Now, context can be given as a prompt. It can be supplied as an additional information in terms of file, code, or project folder, as I mentioned earlier. So you can use context in different formats. And remember, context allows you to make your outcome more relevant to you. Okay. So you don't have to, you don't have to provide a context, but providing context makes your lives easier. And one fun thing about context is that everyone says theirs is bigger, because context size is something which allows the engineers to manage how much data, or how much customizations you can make on top of that LLM while you're using it, right? So context size matters a lot more, and that's why every LLM focuses on displaying the context size in big numbers. Google comes in and Google is like, okay, Gemini 1.5 Pro has the biggest context window available, like 10 times more than GPT, and so on and so forth. So a lot of times you will hear these announcements, and you need to remember what the context means. Nice. Now, second thing which you need to know about, I mentioned three things. So context is one. Second is prompting. Let me go back here. Do I see some hands raised? Probably not yet. Okay. Yeah, because when I'm sharing my whole screen, I can't see this smaller screen. So yeah, hopefully I'll just keep it on the side in case someone raises their hand. Okay. Let it be. Let's do the slides part. I guess that would be much better. Okay. Simple prompting. You can do simple prompting. Prompting is a mechanism in which you can make the model speak for you. Okay. Now there is something called as prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is an art. It is so as AI is taking away jobs, it is also bringing new jobs. Like for example, if you're really good at drafting prompts, you can beg a job of a prompt engineer, which pays really well. Believe me, in the AI space, it is paying huge sums of money, right? So something like prompt engineering might kind of excite you, or something like AI analyst might excite you, right? So on the one hand, it is taking away jobs, but on the other hand, it is providing more. So let's dive a little bit deeper into prompt engineering. In prompt engineering, the whole idea is to get what you need from the LLM model. Now you can, you might have heard this, right? A lot of times you are, kind of asking GPT, hey, I will cut your salary. You are not providing it a salary, but you're mentioning it. You're threatening to cut its salary, which means, it then feels the need to kind of fulfill what you're asking for. Or else sometimes you will be like, hey, talk like a human, because it is, giving you tool system kind of a response, right? So all of that can be eradicated using prompt engineering if done really right. And with prompt engineering comes prompt galleries. Prompt galleries are easy way of knowing the prompts which you can use, which are used by other people and companies like Google, Microsoft, and so on. They both have prompt galleries available, which you can refer to. Just a simple search will give you prompt gallery for both of them. So here you can see, this is Google prompt gallery. This is, Google Cloud prompt gallery. This is Microsoft prompt gallery. So you can go ahead, you can, look at one of these, and these will help you with some sample prompts if you need. Next. Now, whenever I work with prompt engineering, I've learned this, amazing method via, one of our lead developer advocates here at Pieces. And he mentions, his name is Jim. He's a really amazing developer advocate. And he mentions this 4S method: single, specific, short, and surround. So single, meaning one problem at a time. You're not solving all the problem at a time. So if you're building a backend and a front end, you first build the backend and then you go to front end, or vice versa. You don't solve both the problems at one time. So one problem at a time. Be specific about the kind of problem you're solving, right? So what kind of problem are you solving? Are you solving, a coding question? Are you solving a database question? Give it some context. Tell it the language. Be short. Don't overuse words, because LLMs take your words literally. For example, I wanted to create some AI designs for selling t-shirts, right? So I went to GPT, I asked, generate a t-shirt design for me, and it literally generated a design with a t-shirt on it, because it takes word quite literally. So I can instead reframe my prompt as design an A4, like make an A4 design, which is artistic in nature, portrays programming, and blah, 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 blah. And at the end, I'll get a photo which I can print on a t-shirt because it's A4 in size, which is what I really wanted, not a t-shirt design, like, a t-shirt design, like what I mean, if you do. Now, the last part is surround, not just provide the information which you're looking for, but also give it more context first before asking that information. So that is very, very important. Now, how do you know what to ask to Copilot? This is the last point I promise, before hallucinations, obviously. So prompt engineering, it's very difficult. So you can actually make an LLM talk for you. So you can use an LLM to ask what to ask an LLM. Feels weird, but works really, really well. Okay, try it once. You don't really need to know all of that. You can kind of just kind of go ahead and use that, and it will do the charm for you. The second option is prompt gallery. As I mentioned earlier, I'll add the link in the resources later on. Go ahead and refer to it. It's an amazing piece of repository where you will find all the amazing system prompts. Nice. Now the last part, hallucinations of AI. The third part. AI is all good and fancy, but AI is dangerous when it comes to kind of operating on a production level, operating on a human conscious level, right? So the very big disadvantage of LLMs, instead of it eradicating the world, is that it hallucinates a lot, and it creates data out of thin air, like it did not exist, but it will just say that okay, it exists. Okay. So in these cases, it is very important that you understand hallucinations and you try to fix it before it's too late. So the first AI fired was because an advocate used a case reference generated via ChatGPT, which did not exist in real life, in a real court. And obviously the end result would be that this guy was fired. But this was not the last fire, obviously, but this was the first one. So there are a lot more fires after that, which actually involves people using AI unethically, hallucinating with AI, and kind of putting that response as it is without verifying it twice. So yeah, there are a lot of downsides of LLM. Different LLMs can be down in wrong in different ways. For example, OpenAI's O1 model is really good, really advanced, works like a charm. But it is wrong because not wrong per se, but it is not good because it is closed source. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. You're happy with the outcome, but you don't really know how things work on the back end because it's not open source. But if you use something like DeepSeek, DeepSeek is open source, meaning that you can download it, you can distill it weights, the code is available, which means you can actually kind of use it. But if you use the online version of it, it has censorship, which means it censors a lot of these data. So different LLMs are wrong in different ways. You can't really decide which one is right, which one is wrong, but you have to have some pointers which will help you to do that. Nice. So that's the wrap of all the theory things. Let's go, to hands-on. But before we do that, remember this one sentence. It is very important to not trust LLMs blindly, because LLMs are experimental technology and they can be wrong most of the times, if not some of the time. Cool. Now let's come to pieces. Let's execute our, project. What is the project about? The project is about creating a fun fact generator app. Okay. Sorry. So the idea is that we are going to generate a fun fact generator app. It is going to be an interactive web application that generates random facts. It will be built using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that is going to be the plain idea around it. So you can generate personal fun facts about yourself, or you can generate fun facts about the things you love. In my case, I'm going to generate fun facts about, cats because I love cats. So let's go ahead and generate some facts about cats. So I'll say generate 10 facts about cats. Now, remember, I'm adding a new chat. I'm selecting the model as Gemini 2 Flash because I like that model. It's really fast. Okay. And it generates all of these 10 facts about the cats. But can I use this really? No. So I'll have to convert this into a format which can be used by me. So let's do step number 1. Give me a thumbs up. I'll move to step number 2 then. Okay. So select your favorite, fact, whichever fact you think will be nice. Generate 10 facts about that, like Mars, Earth, sea, anything can be here instead of cats. That's totally up to you. Okay. Let me see the chat till then. Yeah, give me a thumbs up once you are done with prompt number 1. You can do it with the chat. I mean, the Q&A. When I say chat, obviously we are talking on Q&A. I never imagined I would do something like this, but here we are. So I'll just put it here in case you are finding it difficult. By the way, it is pinned on the top, I guess, so that should not be difficult. Download failed. In case your download is failing, I have a tip for you. Uh, Fill out this form. We will get back to you. If your download is failing, fill out this form. Please attach screenshots. That's very important for us. So attach as many screenshots as you can, and then we will be, happy to troubleshoot that for you. Okay, anyone else would want to give it a try? Yeah, Q&A sucks. Chat used to be so active. Okay. Probably, that's why I don't particularly love Teams, but again, we are hosting it on Teams. I'll not badmouth it. But Teams always seems to have these permissions issues a lot of times. Okay. Hopefully it gets resolved soon. Okay. Cool. So now what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and do the second step, which is to convert this into a format which we can use. So let's go ahead and convert this into a JSON format. So say convert this or these facts into JSON format because we want to use them in our code, right? So we need them in JSON. And as you can see, it converts them into JSON because we can now go ahead and work with it. Cool. Now you can click on save snippets and you can retry that later on because this is like a JSON which I can use later on, right? So I can save this, I can retrieve it later on, and so on. So you can click on save material and then you will see the option of view. But right now we will keep it saved. We will use it later on. Okay. So now what we need to do, we need to generate. So I'll say generate a single page website which displays random facts about cats we saw earlier on click of a button. Putton. Okay. Now you can provide it more information. Like in my case, I want to provide it that generate, or I can say share code for index.html, style.css, and script.js files. It will go ahead, do the work for me, and generate all these 3 files for me. Okay. By the way, this is the steps we are following. Okay, the last paragraph. Okay, looks like it generated all these 3. But do I have to use them separately? Not really. So let's tell it to kind of use only index.html file, because that would be better. So I can say combine index, CSS, and JS file into one, into index.html. That is better. So now it will convert all of these files into index.html, and I can use this to display my tags. Okay, let's see where you folks are. Please mention, please tell me if you're doing it, if you are stuck, where you are stuck, if you are stuck. Please say the prompt again. The prompt was, let me show you. So the first prompt was generate facts. Second prompt was convert these facts into JSON. Third prompt was to create a single page website which displays, let me quickly show it right here. Displays all of these files, then combine them into index file altogether. I hope that is visible now. Okay. Let's refresh this. Okay. Hopefully, I guess everyone is on the same page. So looks good. Let's go to the next part, which is copying this URL. So before we move further, we need to click on share so that we can generate this URL and claim our certificate. So click on share button, come back to Google Doc, and you can see step number 4, which is hands-on submission. So click on there, fill out the form, fill out the survey, all the details, and then share the pieces URL. So share the pieces URL right here. Now you are technically done. You can, not host your website, but I'll show you how to host it, because that is very amazing. So let me show you the demo. It looks something like this. So it is good project, right? To display it on your resume and whatnot. So why not go one step ahead and do this? So let's do that. How can we do that? Step number 3. By the way, if you just add this and hit submit, you will still get certificate. But if you add the project URL, that means you will be able to, get more, like if you even, like you will get more, how do I say it? More preference, while we are selecting you for social media challenge or for giveaways, right? Because we can see your outcome, we can see your project right there. Nice. So let's go ahead and step number 2, which is create a new GitHub repository. If you have a GitHub account, that is amazing. If you don't, you can create one specifically for this, and it is very easy to do so. So let's go ahead and create a new account, name it cats facts. And I can use this as a Gen AI 101 workshop, public, add readme, hit create repo. Now it will create a new repo for me, and I can upload my code, and we are good. So let's add a file here. You can create a new file, or you can upload the file by saving it into index.html. I will create a new file. So, I'll take a little pause here because I know I've been rushing a little bit. So I'll take a pause, take some feedback, and then move further. Okay. So yeah, tell me where you are on this journey.
Sir, you are not audible, sir.
Okay, can you probably hear me now? Maybe this should be so much better.
Yeah. Now it's audible.
Okay, sorry. Sorry for that. Okay, so yeah, here you can see this share button URL. Just use that and share it. Now, what you can do further is, so I'll give you some prompts which you can use. So what I'll do is I'll further prompt it to improve the CSS. So I'll go ahead and I'll say make the CSS okay, or update the CSS to use modern styles and make it artistic. Now that is a little bit of a exaggeration. So let's see if it is it has added the CSS a lot more, which is nice. Now let's ask to share complete code. Nice. Can you share the complete code with me? Now it will share me the updated code, and I will use this code in GitHub. Okay. So I'll copy this code on the copy button right here on the top, right? So for that, I have to go and create a new file in GitHub. So go here, create a new file in GitHub, name it index.html. And the file content is going to be obviously this code which we just generated. So we generated this code. Oh, did not copy it. Let's copy it again. Okay. Now it seems to be copied. Let's come back here, paste it. Nice. Now here you can directly commit it to the main because this is a single file. We don't need anything, just commit changes. Next. So now your GitHub is ready. You can use the GitHub and you can paste it or you can host it. So how to host it? Click on settings, click on pages, and here you can create a static deployment for your website. How? You see this branch button. So you can click on branch from here, select main, click save, and you're done. That's it. It will take 2 minutes and it will give you a URL, which is a live URL, which you can share with people and anyone else as well. By the way, we are right on time. It's 7:30 and this is the last step. So let's refresh this and hope that it finishes off before 7:35. Then we will be exactly on time, by the way. Yeah, it takes some time to build it. So here you can see the build process as well. But settings, pages, oh, it's created. Nice, we finished on time. Let's open this and you can see how this looks so beautiful. It pops, there is a hover, like animation. You can click on the button, and it looks so good, right? So now I can copy this URL and paste it, in the project. So open Google Form and paste the project. Nice. Now others you can add as you like the session and stuff. Hit submit. You're good. And we will evaluate your submission and we will award you the certification. Nice. So that's about me. If you love my teaching style, follow me on LinkedIn or on Twitter. Happy to hear your thoughts. I'll take some questions right now and then we'll wrap it up. Again, thank you so much for giving me your valuable time. It really means a lot. Please complete the hands-on and claim your certificates. Yeah, Navya, I said that combine, index file, combine CSS and JS into index.html file. That was the, prompt. Okay. Let's see. This after sharing the first file. I just created the GitHub repo. So I went to GitHub on step number 2 and created a GitHub repo. Rest you saw right now, I added a file, settings, pages, deploy. By the way, this is recorded, so you'll see it later on. Don't worry. Okay, I'll explain the last part once again because a lot of you might not have got it right. So what we did basically, we went to GitHub. So step number 2, github.new. We created a new repo. So we add all the details like cat facts. We give it a description. We add a README, create the repo. Once the repo is created, click on add file, create a new file, name it index.html. The code, you will get it from Pieces, obviously. So copy the code, paste it here. Commit changes, commit changes. The code is pushed to the server. Now, to host it, click on settings, click on pages, and main save. Done. You will get the URL in the next 5 minutes. It takes hardly a minute, but I say 5 minutes just in case. Okay, so I hope that is enough for today. Please fill out the form so that we can know how many people participated and claim the certificate. It would be really happy, if you can fill out the feedback form, based on your real feedback of whatever you learned today, and look forward to seeing all your social media posts.